with many MPs and MLAs frequently jumping ships after winning election, the trust of the voters has got betrayed on multiple occasions. This is because people generally cast their vote based on political ideology of a party. In this video, we will uncover whether it is permissible for an MLA or an MP to keep switching parties that easily. What is the anti-defection law, in what scenario it is applicable, and where it is not applicable. At the end, we will also see in this video that how can we improve the implementation of anti-defection law. First, let's understand why this law was introduced in the first place. Back in 1967, the member of the Legislative Assembly in Haryana, named as Gailal, shifted his party thrice. So, for example, in morning he was in party A, in afternoon he went to party B, and by evening he again came to the party A. And from this we have got this very famous slogan, which we are very well aware, that is the Aaya Ram and the Gaya Ram. Similar thing happened in the 1977 when there was a government led by Morarji Desai. And later on it is found that 76 MPs defected and joined some other faction. So therefore, in response to such multiple occasions of toppling of the government, both at the center as well as the state level, finally in India, in the year 1985, Government of India led by Rajiv Gandhi introduced the 52nd Constitutional Amendment, and they inserted a 10th schedule in the Indian Constitution, which is talking about the anti-defection law. So, anti-defection law laid down the process of disqualification on grounds of conscience amendment or allegiance. Or simply put, the goal was to prevent the MPs and MLAs from switching their political affiliations during their tenure of 5 years. Now, you must be thinking that India is a democratic country wherein the citizens have the freedom of speech and expression. Then isn't the restriction on MPs and MLAs to switch political affiliations against the ideology of the Constitution of India? So, the answer is no, as the anti-defection law allows a group of MPs and MLAs to join another political party without inviting the penalty for defection when at least 2/3 of the members of a party want to leave their affiliation and to merge with the another party. Another important factor here is that the trust of the voter is betrayed if an MP or an MLA switches his party after winning the election, because generally voters cast their votes on the basis of their political ideology of a particular party. So now let's understand the grounds for defection under the anti-defection law. First is voluntary giving up the membership by an elected member. So for example, suppose a person won an election on party A, but after winning the election, he wants to join party B. If he does so, then what will happen that his membership will be cancelled. Now he will no more be an MP or MLA. Second is when the MLA or MP is violating the party direction. For example, the BJP or the Congress is issuing a whip, that is a written instruction that on a particular day you have to vote accordingly, and the member is not following that particular writ. Third is when an independent member joins any political party. And lastly is the nominated members. So we have nominated members in the Rajya Sabha where the president appoints 12 nominated members. So nominated members can decide which party they want to join within 6 months. So if after 6 months they are joining any party, then also anti-defection law will be applicable. So now, who will decide if defection has happened or not? So the answer is the presiding officer of the legislature, that is Speaker of the Lok Sabha or the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha are the deciding authorities. In the same manner, the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Council will be the presiding officer for the MLAs and their respective state. The decision of this presiding officer can be challenged in the Supreme Court as the rights of MPs and MLAs are equally protected. Surprisingly, there is no fixed time frame within which the cases of defection are to be decided. But the past record shows that if the defection is favoring the ruling party, then the decisions are made quickly by the Speaker. Contrary to this, if defection is going against the ruling party, then sometimes it's not even decided for the whole tenure of the Assembly. The reason for this, that generally the presiding officer of the House belongs to the ruling party and he or she goes with the party allegiance. There have been instances of defecting MLAs becoming ministers, and defection petitions against them are pending before the Speaker or the chairman. Few years back, a minister from Manipur was dismissed by the Supreme Court as defection petition was undecided even after a period of 3 years. And in this case, Supreme Court suggested that normally the defection petition should be decided by the Speaker within a period of 3 months. So generally, people misunderstand split in the party as defection, but there is a difference between the two. Let's understand that with the recent example of Maharashtra political crisis. So the political crisis in Maharashtra was in limelight when a group of 40 out of 55 Shiv Sena MLAs walked out of the Mahavikas Aghadi alliance under the leadership of Mr. Eknath Shinde, which caused a split in the Shiv Sena party. But before applying the anti-defection law in this case, it has to be decided that which faction is the original Shiv Sena. As in both the Uddhav Thackeray and Shinde sides wanted to take claim over the party name and the symbol, saying that we are the original Shiv Sena. So such type of cases will go to the Election Commission of India, and the Election Commission of India will decide it on certain objective criteria like how many MPs and how many MLAs are supporting which faction. So in the case of the Maharashtra Assembly, the Shinde faction got the majority votes and they were decided to be the original Shiv Sena face, thus receiving the party name and party symbol. So the objective of introducing anti-defection law is to promote political stability and prevent the fall of government due to defection. But the anti-defection law is not applicable on the alliance partners. Now, who are these alliance partners? Let's learn from the current Lok Sabha election results. We all know that NDA is a pre-poll alliance consisting of BJP, JDU, TDP and many other parties. Now they are going to form the government. But now it is being discussed almost in every office, every tea shop, or maybe even in the political circles, that what will happen if Nitish Kumar or Chandrababu Naidu decide to withdraw their support after a few months, whether they can do so or not. Well, they have the full liberty to do so. As we have just discussed, that anti-defection law is not applicable on alliance partners. So in that case, what will happen that the president will ask the government to prove its majority in the Lok Sabha, and if they are able to prove the majority in the Lok Sabha, then they will continue to remain in the power. Otherwise, the government must resign. Let's take a look at the scenario of Bihar Assembly in the past 5 years, where in 2020, BJP and JDU formed the government and Nitish Kumar ended up becoming the chief minister. But after a year or so, he left NDA and formed the alliance with UPA. Again in January 2024, Nitish Kumar left the Mahagathbandhan and once again he came back to NDA. Truly, Nitish ji sabke hain. Similarly, I still remember in 1999, Government of India was led by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. It was a coalition government consisting of multiple parties. Then what happened? AIDMK withdrew the support. Then the President of India is asking the Atal Bihari Vajpayee to prove his majority in the Lok Sabha. Atal Bihari Vajpayee went to Lok Sabha for proving his majority, but at the end of the day, he lost the majority by just a single vote. Can you imagine, by just a single vote? Thereafter, he resigned. So in such type of cases, anti-defection law will not be applicable. So how can we make the implementation of anti-defection law stronger? So as it was stated by Justice Verma in Holohan judgment, that since the tenure of the speaker is dependent on the continuous support of the majority in the House and he or she does not satisfy the requirement of an independent adjudicatory authority in the cases of defection. On one hand, the Supreme Court has suggested that the Parliament should set up an independent tribunal headed by retired judge of the High Court or the Supreme Court to decide the defection cases swiftly and impartially. Whereas on the other hand, National Commission to review the working of the Indian Constitution recommended that the decision to disqualify a member should be made by the President in the case of the MPs or the Governor in the case of the MLAs on the advice of the Election Commission of India. So no matter who the deciding party is, defections are a major hurdle for stable governance in India that need to address effectively for a smooth functioning of the democracy.